I want to tell y'all something. I should have been told y'all this. You know how it said in the Bible, surely I tell you the truth, as soon as you thought it, you done it. Well, it been here recent. I can just tell you a recent situation. Like I have more problem with my internal thinking when it comes to my creator, my father. I had made a mistake, a hiccup, and I was thinking a certain way. And he said, extend the basically trials and tribulations, extend the trial, yeah, extend the trial a little longer. Like I said, God changes it. As soon as we realize that God owns everything, run everything, it's gonna go exactly how we want it to go. You gotta think like Jesus. That's the problem. Jesus asks us to be like him, think like him. And that's harder than we think it is, y'all. That's harder than we think it is because Jesus was complete. And we can't even get out of our external desires before we can even worry about cleaning the internal. Jesus was complete. So I'm telling y'all, like, what's another one? Cause I was in the Astro not too long. I'm always in the Astro. Oh, doubt. Somebody doubting now. I thought they were saying me, but I've been working on mine for a minute. And that's hard to get rid of doubt. And that's why that one across the world always be saying, I think she be reading into my energy when she be talking about that, though. She be like, you basically need to think positive. And I ain't good at that. I'm good at optimism. Positive, I ain't good at. I'm working on it though. But I'm good at. I'm more comfortable with just thinking optimistic. Being positive, I don't think negative, but it's like when you go buy a car and the first thing you do is go buy a jack. So you preparing for the car to have a flat. You see how easy it is to think negative? That's how easy it is to think negative. And how many of us truly do that? That's men. No, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. But just saying, when we buy a car, the first thing we want to go buy is a good jack. And I honestly do it because I was born with a bunch of grease monkeys. But when you think about it, though, that's how easy it is to think negative. Me and her on two different levels, though. You know, I mean, I'm trying to elevate up there. She already up there. I understand what she's saying. But some stuff just take time, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You can't rush it, bro. You gotta be thankful for what little you have done. I done a lot. I done done a lot for myself. But to get to the thinking part, I'm on that part now though. So I'm talking about the past. I'm on that part now. I'm talking about the past. And I'm working on that now. I'm doing pretty good actually. But somebody was in there talking about doubt. And as soon as whatever's inside, God inside you, as soon as your ancestors notice the doubt, your ancestors gonna tell God. They're scheduled to tell God. Like, once we go back on the other side, you angel, whatever role you meant to play, you gonna start back playing. Angels don't play. Angels are programmed one way almost. So they gonna tell God, you gotta build a relationship with your angels. Literally. For them not to, so they can understand how you operate, because you could be joking and they'll make it come true for you. And it was just a joke. So you gotta build a relationship with your angels and your ancestors in general, but mainly with your angels, because your angels are programmed to do things exactly what God said do. They don't go against God over there. Do exactly what God told them to do. You know, we all should do that, but you know. So as soon as they register that doubt in your head, they're gonna tell God. And that's gonna push these attitudes is what's pushing your blessing away. It technically ain't what well it is, it's what comes out. If it done came out, then you done manifested from the inside and it done made its way out. Like I said about the car jack, you're looking for the tire to go flat, so eventually your tire will go flat. You know? So it's like reprogramming your mindset. They tell me to be quiet, they itching the hell out of me over here. Cause I ain't really good at this part at all. But I know you gotta be careful with the way you think. I'm not good at it though, y'all. But I know it's a lot into what Jesus said. Surely I tell you the truth. If you thought it, you done it. So, and when I was young, I didn't get that to the point. I was rough on that real hard to the point where I said, oh, that means if I think it, I need to do it. And that's what I did. That ain't the way that worked though. It's saying stop thinking like that. Work on stopping thinking like that. And for me, how I figured out how to work with that was as soon as a negative thought come in my mind, immediately I asked God to forgive me in my mind and erase that negative thought. Let it go into that cloud and Uber itself away, because it's not my thinking. It's probably from a bloodline. It's probably from a generational curse or something. And that's what I'm here to do, cleanse this generational curse upon my family so that I can free my ancestors from whatever this turmoil that they got themselves into. And so that when they reincarnate, it'll be a better life for them. And not only that, but to prove and show not just to the physical realm, but to the spiritual realm that this can be done. We all know it can be done, but it's been so long since it's been done to the point that we feel like it can't be done. So that was my goal. My goal is so uninteresting in human beings, y'all. I always had a goal to make God laugh and to please God, so that's why I used to tie y'all up. People say, why you say God? I say God. And you know what? I used to love it when gangsters said, and I was in the studio business and I was doing music, I'd go in there and wipe the floor with them. I'd let them put their music on there, and I'd go in there and wipe the floor with them. And they'll look at me like God when I walk out of the studio. Wow, just like that, bro. I'd go in there and clean them on up. And they'll have to hide my verse and everything, because they be trying to make music to get signed. And they'll get rid of my verse or either dissect it and use it as their own, all that, all that extra. But I wipe the floor, anything, comedy, don't matter. I let you go on here and diss me because of the fact that I love God, and I go in there and I clean you on up. And you ain't gonna treat me like no overly righteous Bible thumper church, whatever y'all be calling them folks out there. I ain't that. I really love God. I don't go to church for show. I don't do none of that for show. I ain't got no suit on. I ain't got no crosses around my neck. You know I love God without all that. Shit, I give my all to God. You hear me cuss, and you hear me say stuff out of line, and you see me smoke cigarettes, but that's all. I ain't hiding nothing. I tell you about yourself, I ain't hiding nothing. That's why I ain't got nothing. I ain't got no, real individuals ain't got no money. And that's what we working on. That ain't right. Y'all sit here and did the Get Out movie on us, and that was embarrassing for whoever thought about that. You who thought about that and all that corporation you got going on that you did that to do that with, you just was scared to go broke. And you decided you got real clever, real clever. And you got real smart. You said, I'm finna swap everybody's energy out so I never go broke again. You need to be broke, and your people over there need to make sure you go broke. And if I was your people, I'd ensure that you go broke and make sure that you go into the brokest area that you can possibly go in, because you ruin a whole bunch of people lives because you was scared. All right, I'm finna chill. Hell, we gotta chill out. I don't like people like, I don't know how people can work for people like that, bro. That scares me even more, because I'm like, where is the real at? Where is the real at? Back in the day, you couldn't do this, bro. You couldn't do that. You couldn't come in sideways like that. Not to your own gangster, your own crew, nobody. They'll slide you out of there. Now it's like everybody jumping on board, bro, on the bandwagon of the Slick Diss and Lane crew. Slick Diss and Lane crew bandwagon ass. Lord, please, man. Man, anyway.